welcome to another episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I am your host, WIZE. I'm very excited. My next guest sorry, let me catch my breath. My next guest is a best-selling author, a spiritual psychology coach. Welcome to the show, Lainne Love.
Hi, thank you so much. It's so great to be here. I love your logo with the mic and the head and the flower.
Yeah.
It's so
Oh
cool.
no.
Well
Yeah.
done.
It took me a while. I had like three. I've already transitioned to probably like 3 or 4 logos since I started the podcast. But when I did that one, when I got that one made, I was like, yeah, all right, that's
Yeah.
the one right there.
Well done. There's so many brilliant creative people out there, and that's just a really cool representation. So
Thank you.
hats off.
All right, so let's jump right into it. You have an inspirational story. You was a struggling single mom. Can you share with us your journey from being a struggling single mom to becoming an award-winning coach and best-selling author?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really important to share our stories. It's just when we think that it's not possible for us. It's always great to look out and find your inspiration, your expander, your knowing that it's possible. Because I know I felt a lot of frustration in that I didn't really see anybody like me. Like I didn't come from wealth or connections. I didn't have a partner that was helping me. I didn't have family that was supporting me. It was really, I want to say it was just me. And at the same time, it's never just us. There's helpful friends along the way. There is teachers, mentors, therapists, but I didn't have anybody like paying my bills or helping with my child or any of those things. And so I would always feel kind of frustrated, like, oh, sure, they did it because they had this, and this. And I mean, and that's another layer of different things that I got to work on. Even just having that perspective or the attitude, that was a signal for me to get to work on that and like what's behind that. And it is helpful when you have somebody that has been through similar a situation or circumstances to know that you can still do it too. So, how I did it is just by doing it. I mean, it's not really hard, but it's also not easy. It's not easy in that you have to show up and do the work. I had a lot of work that I needed to do, a lot of healing and reprogramming that I needed to do. 'Cause I didn't grow up like really knowing a lot about anything about money or anything about like how to achieve success or even like what that would look like. And I mean, we grow up in North America, at least I'm North American, and probably most of listeners are, and we're pretty affluent here. I mean, I've lived in Asia, in Europe, and in different places in the States. And in traveling, what I discovered was a new version of what it means to be poor. In North American poor and like other parts of the world, poor is very, very different. So I think that was really helpful too, to understand like all of the opportunities that we really do have in North America, to resources and how much easier it is to succeed. And knowing that those possibilities are easier for us to reach for is really important. At least it was for me. I was a little humbled in knowing that, and that my struggle or my perceived struggles are different than many other people's in the world. And at the same time, not to minimize the struggle that you're experiencing. It's also a real thing. So there's lots of layers there. But at the end of the day, it's just deciding that you're going to do it and doing it. And it took me a really long time, a really
No,
long time.
it takes
And
takes a lot of us a really long time
yeah,
to get anything correct. And for me, it began because when I was in probably s 7, 8 years old, my mom would send probably even younger than that, my mother would send me to Puerto Rico every summer,
Wow.
and I would go from the comforts of Brooklyn, New York, where I had indoor plumbing and everything, and to Puerto Rico, where, at that time, when we would go visit our family over there, they didn't have indoor plumbing. We actually went out to the outhouse and took a shower out in the outhouse, and it was a completely different experience for me coming being a city boy that had indoor plumbing. So my mom at a very young age humbled me and made me realize you you have it good here at home.
Yeah.
You go experience what some of your family members in Puerto Rico have it like that, where they don't have indoor plumbing. Some of them don't even have electricity at some time. And so at a young age, I realized like, okay, there's people that have it at worse off than yes. We don't minimize what you're going through,
Mhm.
but do realize there are people that have it worse than you.
Yeah. It's everything is perspective, and it's just finding that balance because it's really easy to feel sorry for ourselves. And
Mhm.
again, there's something valid there, and that yes, your experience is your experience, but not to get stuck in that, and to realize that there are all kinds of different possibilities, and you too can fall in that category of it's possible. So it takes a lot of dedication and effort, and I think that's the thing, is that most people aren't necessarily willing to do that. Or we're sold these stories of like, oh yeah, I just did this and I have $1 million now. And you know what? I do want to put it out there that it's possible. It's possible to be an overnight success. It's possible to have, you know, be that one hit wonder and like really for it to change your life. It's absolutely possible. And it's great to dream. And it's great to hold those things in your heart that I could do it. And if you have to keep working at it, that's okay too. That's okay too. And if it takes you a really long time, that's okay too. It's staying with the journey and doing the work. So that really is my story, and I'm still doing the work. And I thought it would end. I
No,
thought it would
no,
end, but it
no,
doesn't. It
no,
doesn't end.
no. For me, it's been a struggle with, just one tragedy after another, and when I discovered my podcast and I discovered my voice and I found out, oh man, this is what I want to do. I want to provide a platform for people who have struggled in their life and show them that regardless of what you've been through. And then yes, sometimes I have people come on and talk about coaching and everything else, but it's to me it's important for people to come share their story because
Yes.
someone might hear your story and can relate to it. Might not be going through the same exact thing you went through, but can relate to some of the stuff you went through and be like, man, I needed to hear this at this point in my life right now. At this time in my life, I needed to hear what they were saying.
And absolutely. And it definitely, I have a lot of crazy stories of things that have happened to me, and I've had a lot of unhealthy relationships, and I have distanced myself from my immediate family. All of those things were challenging choices or challenging situations or circumstances, and you can also choose those things. You can prioritize what's important in your life and how you want to be treated, and what values and belief systems are really important to you, and examine whether or not the people that you're surrounded by, whether or not it seems like not by choice because they're your family, but we could go one step further and go more spiritual there, and know that we decided our lives and our families before we came here, and our challenges, because we have some things. We have our mission, and we have the things that we're here to work through and overcome, whether that's because of the evolution of our soul, or it's because we have some karma to balance, you know? So I chose my family. I chose all of the hurdles and challenges that I've experienced in my life, because I needed to grow and develop and make amends and heal from that karma that I definitely am sure that I've had in many of my past lives. You know, it's challenging to be a human, but we don't give ourselves enough credit for how dynamic we are and what exactly it is that we are. We're sacred beings, you know. We get so caught up in our day-to-day lives and struggles, we forget about the big picture. So every time I come back to the big picture, it makes understanding the challenges so much easier, and it makes them even a little bit more interesting.
How has your experience as a single mom influenced your approach to coaching and personal development?
Well, being a parent has been the best, most amazing gift in my life. Talk about, you know, we stumbled on being humbled by experiencing how people live in different parts of the world. And being a parent is absolutely that. Having somebody reflect back to you how you show up is really an opportunity for to grow and to evolve and to advance yourself. And so being a single parent to even a neurodivergent son, you know, I've had a lot of appointments and assessments and special this and special that, and getting to look at myself and how I might be, well, might be isn't correct. That's how it started off, with how I might be contributing to how my son shows up and what his behavior looks like, becomes definite. I'm 100% responsible and in creation to how he is showing up. And so when I really started to examine myself and how I was reacting, even just energetically. You know how, like, on the outside you might be smiling, but on the inside you're just a tornado of rage.
Yeah.
Well, your children and other beings, other people are picking up on that, whether you realize it or not. And children are particularly sensitive. And my son was picking up a lot on my inner tornado and sometimes outward tornado, and that was really negatively impacting him. And as I started to apply all of the tools that I use in my life more and more to myself, then he started to shift and I started to change. We both started to change together. And so my son has just helped me to become a better person because I rose to the challenge, to the opportunity, and the need for me to go another layer, dig deeper within myself to find more love.
So, can you tell us about your work as a spiritual psychology coach, and how has
Yes.
that impacted your life? Because I know when you start learning something new, we're kind of like the tough subjects. You want to kind of test it on yourself.
Yeah. I've been in this realm for about 20 years of alternative health and energy and alternative ways of being. Well, I don't know if they're alternative anymore. Seems to be a little bit more mainstream. But you have to be what it is that you say that you're doing or teaching. You have to, like, become that and live that in your life if you're going to be any kind of mentor or teacher or helper. You have to embody the things that it is that you're teaching or inspiring other people to learn. So everything is really leading by example. And to be doing what I do, that requires me to have a lot of daily practices and personal integrity. And and then it just becomes a natural thing of what I do, is because that's how I am and who I am in my life. And I think that that's what differentiates, different different professionals on their journey. It's You can absorb a lot of information, which is something that I did. I knew of a lot of things, but I became different and my practice became different the more I started to be those things.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that because that's even with me personally. Um, I'm I've I've just wanted to recently last few years just want to continuously learn and grow. So that's why I have a lot of the guests that I have on, and it's because yes, I want people to learn and hear their stories and but I also want to improve. So it's me wanting to grow and develop, and then at the same time, I like with podcasting. I didn't know anything about podcasting. I didn't know anyone who was podcasting. I didn't know any of the stuff that I needed to do, but I wanted to do it. And once I started on the path and started really doing my research and taking the courses and one then people start then spirit started putting people in my path to help me along the way, to show me a quicker and a better way and how to improve and what are the steps I need to, because spirit saw that I wanted to learn. This is something I wanted to experience. So it started connecting me with the right people. The right opportunities started coming because that was the energy that I was putting out there. That I want to learn. I want how do I improve? Where do I improve at? And you could be amazed that when you start putting that energy out there, when you start really putting that out there, the people that you attract, the people that come into your life to help you get to where you want to get to.
Exactly. Exactly. You have to be living it, because you could just be reading all of these things about the podcasts, but until you're actively doing it,
Hmm.
and then you start to be able to embody it. It starts to become something that you know. And that's the difference between, somebody that's just learning and then somebody that becomes like a professional at their craft. And we all are in different parts of that journey. Like, I started off as, yes, I know all of these things, and I'm not practicing it yet. So it's taken me many, many years to be in the daily practice of these things. And so, once you start to practice those things, then you start to see how it is that they all fit together. And then you can start to do things like how to shortcut. Like, how do okay, now I have all of these different tools, and this one's the best for this, or this one's the best for this, or if I take out these steps and I add this step, then it's better. It's a refinement process. And that's why it's so cool to work with professionals. I know myself, I always work with different coaches, different teachers, different therapists, all in tandem. I'm never without working with somebody, because exactly as you said, I always have something to learn, and I always have ways in which I can be better.
Yeah, even today I reached out to a friend of mine. Shout out to Phil Better. You actually Phil interviewed you. Um, yeah,
Yes, yes, he did. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So I shot him a message and asked him a question, and I love Phil to death. He's uh he's one of my mentors and friends, and so to and it was just random. I was like, you know what? Let me just ask him this question and get his opinion on it. And I just shot him the message, and he replied instantly, and he was like, and I told him that what it was I was thinking about and how should I do it, and he said, yeah, but he says I would do what I would go with the form that's much more simpler for you and it saves you time. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that works.
Good. Yes, exactly. Ask. That's a sign of a professional too, is knowing when to ask for help and knowing to ask for help. Asking for help is a really badass thing to do because we all need it.
It's it's really because all right. So my question to him was, all right, should I use the same template for my thumbnails for all my
Oh,
YouTube interviews, for all my
good
lives?
question.
Huh?
Yeah, it's a good question. What's the
Yeah.
answer?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
He said
There we
yes.
go.
Is yes. And the reason why is branding wise,
Yeah.
you still is you're still the same scheme and everything, and it saves you time. I don't have to go through searching for all these different thumbnails and now I just have a single template that I use, and that's the template I'm going with from now on. And the thing was, I had already been using something similar on promoting my podcast on Instagram. So I just wanted to know if was it the right idea for me to just do it all the way around as far as YouTube, and then I want to continuously have the same template.
And the answer is yes. That's for
Yes.
everybody listening. When you're thinking about your branding, it makes a lot of sense because then people start to recognize your logo, your brand, is because we're so quick in visual recognition that they know that's you, and that makes it a lot easier for you too.
Yeah.
Less, yeah, that's great. Thank you for the tip.
All right. So what inspired you to start a bigger mission org, and what are some of the key initiatives of the organization?
So I wrote a book with a bunch of amazing people. And what are we, 2024? So that was pretty much all of 2023. We were on that journey together. And how that happened is just I had written my first book, How to Use Hypnosis to Master Your Brain. And that only took me 12 years to get my first book completed. And so when I met this wonderful group of people in a program that we were all taking together, um, when you're sharing about yourself, one of the things is that I am a best-selling author, and w- the answer you get a lot to that is, "Oh, I've always wanted to write a book," which is amazing because everybody, well, not everybody, most people have really interesting stories to tell. Some people aren't interested in telling their story, but
No.
for the people that are, I think that's so great. I want to hear your story. I love reading. I consume a book a week. I love stories. I love books. I love everything about it. And so I just heard it enough from all these wonderful, talented professionals, and I just said, you know what? I just did this, and I know how to do it. It's fresh in my brain. I know all the steps. Why don't I just take you all through the process? And everybody, you can write like one story, one chapter, and that will alleviate the feeling of overwhelm of, oh my god, I have to write this whole entire book, and I'm never going to get that done. Everybody can commit to like a chapter, and so that's what happened. So we worked on the book and story development and writing and editing and all of those beautiful things throughout the year, and then we finished up with our beautiful book, A Bigger Mission, which was also a bestseller. It came out at the top of this year, the end of 2023, top of 2024. And because we're all heart centered professionals who are really committed to helping each person be a better version of themselves, which ultimately lends to us creating a better world and coming up with more innovative solutions. Some of us felt really inspired to take that one step further and see how it is that we could help other people lean into their bigger missions. And so that is the birth of a biggermission.org.
Awesome. It's so my nephew, he's published two books. Um,
Amazing.
the first one, he needs to work on it. Um, and then when he started working on the second one, we really we invested. We got someone to help him with the writing and everything,
Mhm.
and we self published it, and we self published the book, and it, it, it was it felt good being able to help him get that book out, because that book right there, it, it ended up being a self help book, an inspirational book, because he talks about from his time serving when he was in jail, and
Mm.
how he was able to turn his life around to now he's a published author, he's a business owner, he's a podcaster. So we kind of wanted to show people, like, listen, look at where he's been at,
Mhm.
serving almost 10 years in prison, to
Wow.
coming out and turning his life around.
I'm so proud of him.
Yeah,
That's
and
amazing.
so to help him put that story out, to me, was a no-brainer. It was like, yeah, we need to get that out there.
Yeah.
So to be able to say we self-publish books, which we have, eventually, I will write one and get it out there. But at least we know the process.
Yes.
And that's one of the things with me and my nephew, because that's my business partner and everything. And it's with him, with us both, it's like, all right, we're gonna do something, we're gonna attempt it. If it don't work, we're not gonna beat ourselves over. Like, we've launched since we've been doing media and everything, since 2019 or whatever. Um, we've launched a radio station. We
Wow.
had it running for a couple of years. We have our Real Wise TV YouTube channel. We started a production company. We have our show that we have airing on a Roku channel. We have the book. He has his business. It's just been amazing that we're like, all right, we're gonna try this. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We should, but we'll at least say we attempted. We made an effort and we tried it, and just wasn't for us. But then there's stuff that hits. So it's amazing when you have that support of people who sees the vision, and are willing to take that leap with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It really, really helps when you have collaborators and mentors and people cheering for you. And if you don't, that's okay too.
Yeah,
You can still do it. You can absolutely do it. You have everything within yourself to be able to do it. I recognize that it's a little bit harder. You have to dig a little deeper, but you can do it. And if you do have dreams or aspirations of writing a book and publishing it, yeah, you can do it now. It's really easy. And when I was starting to write books 12 years ago, it wasn't as easy. It wasn't as easy, and now you can self-publish
yeah,
with so much more ease. You don't have to put a lot of money up front. Yes, it does cost some money, as I hate it
hmm
when people say, and it doesn't, it's free. Nothing is ever completely free. Everything costs money along the way, but it's certainly one of the least expensive ways to do it. It makes it possible. It makes it
yeah,
affordable to be able to publish it on your own. So you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it, and practice. It doesn't have to be perfect.
yeah,
Just do it and get the confidence and learn all the steps. And you will be surprised at all of the things that you can accomplish.
definitely. As a senior level contributor at Brains magazines, what topics do you typically cover, and what message do you hope to convey to your audience?
The same as, I like to talk about when on podcasts is just my message really always is that you can do it. You can do it, and it's not hard and it's not easy. It's gonna take you effort. It's gonna take you time. But I mean, sometimes I'll write about business or parenting because we are all of these things in our lives. So In order to be a coach, well, first I started off as a like, shiatsu therapist in a chiropractic office, and then I morphed many times over as to becoming an award-winning coach. I had many different incarnations, professional incarnations, and lots of different types of education along the way. But it is an interesting thing because you take a lot of time to become a quote unquote expert. Let's call it more like just a knowledgeable person in your field, because I don't really know about experts. There's people that know more things than others, but there's never anybody that knows,
Everything. Yeah.
everything. So knowledgeable in my field. But then you come to learn that, oh no, now I have to learn all these other things. I have to pretty much become at least competent in all of these other skill sets. And so I unwittingly became somewhat competent in business, in marketing, in branding, in learning how to hire people. Like, what does that look like? Because you think when you hire somebody that it's gonna like be so easy because they're gonna take away all this workload, but it takes some time before it gets to the point where it's actually easy to have staff, because there's a lot of onboarding, a lot of processes that you have to come up with and be able to explain all those processes, and then even just the working dynamics, being able to lead somebody else. Like, how do you do that? How
Yeah.
do you give them
How,
feedback? It's all these other skill sets, you know?
how do you balance your roles as a coach, an author, a CEO, and a mom? Like, what do you do to maintain that work life balance?
As we talked about a little bit earlier, um, you have to be these things. So and then how you do anything becomes like is how you do everything. So the more patient I am, the better leader I am, the better I am at operating and creating systems and structure that bleeds into my life as a parent. Becoming a better listener, becoming a better leader, becoming better at modeling, becoming better at creating systems and structure, routines, bedtime, this and this, talking about things, communicating. All of the elements come together, and then those all transfer into professional life, like working with clients. Again, communication is everything. So as you become more proficient in certain areas, it all helps to augment all of the other roles that you play in your life. So I know people, the thing is, how do you do all those things? You just do. You just learn. Like, it's not like I just decided, like, one day tomorrow I'm going to do 20 different things and I'm just going to do it all. You just like start doing it. Because the more you think about it, if you think about it, you're just going to come up with excuses as to why you can't do something. But you can always do something. Like, I have 5 minutes. There's something called 5 minute workout. I have 5 minutes. I can do a workout. I can set a timer and work for like 15 minutes on writing this, or on reaching out to this person, or on looking up this policy or procedure, or figuring out how to create this, and then taking some time to think about whether or not I want to learn how to do it myself, or whether I want to hire somebody to do that, and then learning what the difference is there. I mean, eventually it becomes more proficient to have somebody working with you, but I've taken the long way around in that I learned how to do a lot of these things myself first. But I also think that that's really important, because then you learn the value of a particular role. So I've created like 5 different websites, for instance, and I started way back when it was like code, and I was copying and pasting the code and figuring it out, and then we have all these amazing websites where you can just like go in and
Plug and play and
click and
pause.
yeah. But even then, it can take some time to like figure out the
Oh yeah,
particular
no, no.
font and
Yeah, man, to me, I'm the one who's I've worked on my podcast website and my production company website, and I've learned it's not easy. It's time consuming, but
it
I'm
is.
loving it. I'm loving
It's
it,
time
and
consuming.
I, I know eventually I'm gonna have to release that to someone, find me a VA to help me handle that because that's time that it's consuming. Like as soon as when I release my audio podcasts every Wednesday, I gotta go to the website, upload the new cover art, the blog, everything else that goes with the podcast. But I've kind of figured out a system where now it's much more simpler. So
Yes, it's a creating those systems, creating the policies, creating the procedures. You have to learn them first. Well, not everybody does. Really, not everybody does. It depends on your personality, but I am the kind of person where I see a lot of value in learning what those steps are so that I also understand what it takes to do that job. So when
yeah,
somebody says I need this amount of time or I'm asking for this amount of money, I really understand the amount of time and effort that it takes to do that job. And so I value the person doing it so much more because I have an appreciation for what it takes to fulfill that
the-
particular role or task. And then I also know how to give directions because I'm familiar with what that job is.
yeah.
So those things have been helpful for me in learning the different roles. Is I am an experiential learner, so I have to read about it or watch about it and then do it, and then I really have a greater
Much more
understanding.
easier. Yeah.
That's helped me. And so maybe that'll help some of you listening, and maybe you'll be doing it a little bit different. But those are great things to consider when if you want to be the CEO of your life and your business and learning all of those different roles and responsibilities and the value of them.
So, what role has spirituality played in your this journey of self discovery and transformation?
Everything. Yeah. Everything. I was really mad at God, at angels, at
Uh,
spirit
I,
guides, at
I know.
everyone for a long time. A long
I,
time.
I listen. 2008, my wife passed away in a car accident.
Mm,
Um, '09, I reunited with my father after not seeing him for 25 years. I go see him Father's Day weekend. I arrive Friday. He passes away Saturday. Um, and then it was just like 1 year after another. I buried two brothers, aunt and uncle that played a real big part in my life and helped raising me and everything. And I was angry. I was very self-destructive. I was angry at God, spirit, whatever, because I felt like, am I such a horrible person? Why are all these things happening to me?
mm.
Why is this happening? Why am I losing all these important people in my life? And one day it just it was you need to stop being so angry.
Yeah.
You need to realize that this is life. Life happens.
Yeah.
You get knocked down, but this is not you. You're not meant to be down on the ground. You need to pick yourself up, get up, change, get your life together, seek the help that you need, and that voice, and that's what I did. I sought therapy. I turned my life around. I started working again just to stop being self-destructive and doing stupid stuff that was just dumb. And and when I switched and got back into self-development and got back into learning and growing, things started happening. I met my future wife.
Mm,
um I started connecting with friends from the past that helped me move on and change my life around to the point where I've been at my job now going on 10 years. I've been with my wife now. Well, for we've been together 11 years now, and so to share, to be able to share this story and let people know, like, I was angry. I was just I was ready to give up on life, and and I've come a long way now to where I have a top 5% rated podcast, where somewhere I have a voice, I have a platform where people come on and share their life experiences, and you don't know whose life you're impacting.
Yeah. It's really beautiful.
So yeah, I know. I When you say you was angry, I
Yeah.
know. I was angry. I was didn't understand why me. Why was life being so
Mhm.
cruel to me?
Yeah.
Was I such a horrible person that that this was my life was gonna be for the rest of my life? Just one tragedy after another, just hurt after just pain, and yeah, I feel you. I feel you when you say you was angry, because I was angry.
I hope that other people that people listening can feel that too, that anger and how consuming it is or can
Mhm.
be if we let it be. And I let it be for a long time. I didn't
Yeah.
even know that I was consumed with anger because I masked it so well with a smile, but I was being eaten up from the inside out because I was fine. But I wasn't fine. I was really angry,
Mhm.
really, really angry.
Yeah, and like you said, you mask I masked, yeah, people didn't
Mhm.
know. People didn't know what I was struggling with,
Yeah.
because you tend to hide it. You tend to, like, just hide it from other people, and it was but
I was hiding it from myself too. At least I thought I was because I didn't realize I was so angry. I didn't let myself even know how angry I was because that's what we do as humans. That's what we're mostly at what we're trained to do and how we're taught to cope slash not cope actually
yeah.
is you just like shove down all of these uncomfortable feelings and then we think that that means that they've gone away but they haven't. They're living within you and they're ravaging your body. They're eating you up from the inside out and we see it manifested in so many different conditions, diseases, or in behaviors. And yeah, we're both examples of having lived that and then how that affects your connection to
Mhm.
other
No,
to the supernatural to magic to god
so,
to
yeah, everything.
the divine. It really does it
Yeah.
it blocks it, it hinders it,
No, yeah,
it's
no,
all of those
you don't get to
things.
experience. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would have not got to experience what I'm going through right now, or
Yeah.
with all the wonderful conversations, all the beautiful relationships that I've built the past few years. I would have never been able to. I would have not been in a place to receive those. None of those conversations. I would have never not been in a place mentally to be able to receive any of those messages, and have any of these wonderful conversations that I had, and connect with some of the most beautiful people that I've been able to connect with in the past few years. Like prime example, he popped my friend Drew Willingham just popped up on the screen.
Mm.
Um, she's watching us on YouTube. Building relationships like that with him, he's been going through his struggles. He had younger man than me, and he had some health issues, and had a scare, and he's come back. He's worked hard to create some great content, and to be able to say he's a friend and a brother. It's those relationships that I cherish. Is being able to come here and connect with like-minded people who share share a similar vision to what you're trying to get done. And and so had I been still that person, I would have not built these relationships.
Yeah, but you had to be that person also.
Yeah.
It's that remembrance or that understanding is that these things that happen to us or we say they're happening to us, and I found it really annoying when people would say they happen for you, but they really do, because like I said earlier in the beginning of this podcast about where we forget that we are eternal spiritual beings and that there is more that is coloring this life that you are living right now than just this life.
Yeah.
There's so many other factors
Mhm.
involved. And there is a reason for why you are in the circumstances that you're in. It's to develop your heart and your mind and your spirit and to grow, to learn how to evolve, to learn how to overcome, to learn how to be able to come from love regardless of what kind of cruelty you are experiencing or what kind of unfairness you think that you're experiencing, because life isn't about fair. It's not, and it's really hard. It's hard to accept that, but it is the truth. It's not about fair. It's about evolution, and it's about overcoming, and it's about being able to take a challenge and make it into an opportunity.
Okay. All right. How do you define success, and what does it mean to you personally?
Success is, I think it changes. My definition of success changes, but ultimately it is, am I doing what I say that I want to be doing? Am I doing what I say? So right now I'm learning Tai Chi swords because I've always wanted to. I used to watch like the dubbed Chinese movies, even
Yes,
like
the
growing
Five
up.
Deadly Venoms and stuff.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, all the Bruce Lee movies and like all of I just love martial arts, and I love the beauty of it, and I've always wanted to take it. So an element of success is that I've always wanted to do that, and now I'm doing it. And that brings me a sense of peace within myself. So when I do what my heart desires me to do, whether that's an action or even a way of being, like I want to be more patient or I want to be more kind. Well, am I actually doing those things and then
Yeah.
having that sense of peace? That's success to me.
Awesome. Awesome. This has been wonderful, man. This has been a great
Yeah.
conversation. Now you get the solo screen where you get to let people know where they can find you, your websites, where they can get the book, everything.
Oh my gosh, it's so great to be here on the solo screen. But yes, I'm Lainne Love, and you can find me. I'm so blessed to have Lainey.com as my website. So you can find me there and you can book a free call. I am here to be of service and to help you to find your bigger mission and your solutions in life. So whether that's me or not, I can refer you to somebody. I just want to see you on living your best life on your path. And you can find me on Instagram at Lainey Love and on LinkedIn and all those beautiful places. I'm easy to find. And my books, A Bigger Mission and How to Use Hypnosis to Master Your Brain, are on Amazon.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for being a guest. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Don't
Keep
leave
shining
just
your light,
thank you. Thank you.
doing the
Don't
good work.
don't leave just yet. We're gonna chat a little bit off the air, but thank you once again for being such a wonderful guest.
Thank you so much.
All right, man. Thank you. Shout out to everybody in the chat, BS3 Network. What's going on, Ben? How you doing? Shout out to my man Drew Willingham for coming through and showing some love. Shout out to my Real Wise fam, Poppy J, Brandy J. Love you guys. Shout out to the boss lady. Love you and appreciate you. Um, Shout out to everybody who's gonna catch the replay later on. Subscribe if you haven't. Share everything. Hit the notification button for all new episodes. But thank you, everybody. Appreciate everyone. And as always, a big, big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless you. Be safe. You know your boy Wise does it. Peace out.